Hi, thanks for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I'm Andrea. It's so great to have you here. I can be a little bit of a ham, so appropriately enough, this practice is going to focus on our hamstrings, the muscles at the backs of our legs. We often think of them as only wanting to be stretched, but actually they are the muscle group that help bend our knees. Did you know that? So I'm standing on a yoga mat. If you don't have one, it's fine. You do want to face me. So imagine, if you will, that you have a yoga mat and yours is just facing me, so you don't have to turn your head. I'll be moving around and maybe moving my mat around, but you don't need to. I think a chair is nice to have. A folded blanket, that can simply be the throw blanket from your couch. A couple of blocks, that will be really helpful for at least one of the poses that we do. You have an option for using your chair or those tall blocks. I'm barefoot, but if you're more comfortable wearing shoes, that's fine. And once you've got your stuff, let's get started. Standing in our beloved mountain pose. Feet hip distance. Have a soft bend to your knees. Roll your palms away from each other and let that happen at the shoulder joint. Smile your collarbones open and smile anywhere else you want to. This is our stop so that we can start. Start to feel your breath travel just through your nose. Ideally, if you can, breathing through your nose from now until the end of the practice, and be playful with balance, a little rocking forward and back and side to side. As it turns out, even just standing is a balancing pose. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, a V shape, and then exhale and let those arms travel back along your side, palms face out. Inhale, arms out and up, just adding movement to our breath, and then exhale, arms along your side. One more time, inhale, arms out and up in a V shape. And then exhale, arms float alongside you. Bending your knees this time, inhale, V shape overhead. Let your weight go into your heels, and then exhale, stand it up, and here's that playful standing balance. Bend your knees, inhale into a chair pose, V shape overhead. And exhale, standing upright. We'll do that dynamically. That just means we're moving a few times. If your pace is different than mine, no worries. Inhale, chair. And exhale, stand. This time when you come to chair pose, let's stay put for a moment and breathe. A moment ago I said, your hamstring muscle group are the ones that help you bend your knees. Well, guess what they're doing right now? They're helping to stabilize us. So we're giving them some strength and a contraction, and later on in our practice, we're going to stretch them. So it's a bunch of hamstring, we're hamming it up, like I said. A few more moments here. You're still breathing through your nose, right? And then stand it up and arms along your side and palms face out. Sun salutation, inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward, get some length into your spine, and then exhale, hinge a little deeper into your hip. Inhale, arms out and up. Our legs are straight but not locked out, and then arms float along your side, and we'll do that again. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale, heart extends. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape overhead. And then float your arms alongside you. Let's combine those two things. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Keep the bend in your knees like a chair, but inhale some length into your spine. Exhale, increase the hinge of the hip. We never let our head go lower than our hips. And then keep your chair. Inhale, arms out and up. Stand into your mountain. Great, again, bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Keep the bend in your knees, hands to the tops of your thighs. Inhale, a little bit more length into your spine, and then exhale, increase the hinge at the hip. Keep your knees bent. Inhale, chair pose. Emphasize sitting into your heels a bit. Low belly lifts, and then stand it up into your mountain. Last time. Inhale, arms out to the side and a V shape into our chair. Exhale, hands to tops of thighs. The inhale is what lengthens our heart even though our knees stay bent. Exhale, a little bit more hinge at the hips. And then inhale, arms out to the side. We're still in our chair, thumbs to the sky. Stand it up and then pause. This is where you keep your mat facing forward. I'm going to adjust mine a little bit to the side so that I'm easier for you to see. Now, we want our props adjusted before we get into the next thing. So if you like to do something like a triangle with your hand on the base of your chair, move your chair to the middle of your mat so it's located where currently my 2 blocks are. If you're going to use 2 blocks, place them not in your way, but off the side of your mat on those 2 long edges of your mat so that they are there at the ready when we want them. Take your arms wide out to the side and then step out wide and turn your heels in and your toes out. It's basically that your ankles are underneath your wrists, but that's not an exact science, so you can figure out what works for you best. Bend your knees, so it's like a little bit of a plie, and take your hands to your thighs, sort of like our sun salutation a moment ago. Traction your hands against your thighs so we're not collapsing. We're standing tall into our mountain, and then just straighten your legs. Take the arms out to the side, up to the sky, a V shape. We'll do that dynamically. So bending your knees, hands to the tops of your thighs. See if you can let your knees move out as opposed to collapse forward. So a little bit back behind you, and then straightening your legs and your arms overhead. We inhale to the top and then stand. One more time like that. Bend your knees, it's a little bit of a plie here, and then hands to tops of thighs. Stay where we are. Just let your right shoulder lean in a little bit. You're still pressing gently against the tops of your thighs, and then we'll take that to the other side. So left shoulder leaning in. A little side to side here. Breathing. Taking any breaks that you need, and remember, no head lower than hips. Super important. Now just to take a few more moments side to side. This one feels pretty good to me. I hope to you too. And then come down the middle, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, straighten your legs, and pause. We'll stay this wide, but turn your toes forward, and then bend your knees with your hands on your thighs. Remember, we're not lowering our chest. Bend your right knee and let your left leg straighten like we're kind of a bunch of skaters, and then we'll go over to the other side, bending the left knee. Side to side, you're still tractioning your hands on your thighs, so that length that we found in our spine when we did a sun salutation finds us here, and here we are, skating a little bit side to side. Smile your collarbones, keep breathing. So now we have a contraction in one set of hamstrings and some extension in the others. So when we do 2 different things on 2 different sides of our bodies, it also becomes brain food. And who doesn't want a little brain food, right? Now we'll go side to side one more time. So over to your right, and then over to your left, and then down the middle with both knees bent, tractioning a little bit of length into our spine. Stay knees bent, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, a V shape, and then very slowly straighten your legs, float your arms alongside you. This is where we need our props. So just make sure that what you need for a triangle pose, either the base of your chair behind you or your 2 tall blocks are in place. Turn your right leg out so that your right foot faces that short edge of your mat, and then cheat your left heel back so it's at a 45-degree angle. Thumbs to the sky, arms out to the side. We're not doing side flexion, so this is not something that happens that looks like this. It's a little sassier. You're gonna stick your butt out and hinge at the hip, high hamstring, stretching, right? Reach out until you find the base of your chair, or you find that tall block at the outside of your right foot. Now think of growing tall through your spine. Remember that collapse is not on the menu. Press into your right big toe mound and feel how that activates the muscles in your right leg. Low belly lifting, breath steady. 3 more moments, appreciating a little stretch in our hamstring, breathing through our nose, and enjoying the pose. Really great. Firm through your feet and lift your low belly so that there's a little bit of support as we come up. And on your way up, you might move your block off to the side so it never gets in your way. We don't want it to trip us. Lower your arms for a moment. Turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. So bit by bit, mindfully, we transition between poses and we're mindful within them too. It just means we're paying attention. Turn your left leg so that your left foot faces the short edge of your mat. Cheat your right heel at a 45-degree angle. Arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. And then hinging at our hip, remember, not bending at the waist. Lengthen out and either hand comes to the base of your chair or hand onto your tall block. Now you've got a little sass, so you can kind of stick your right hip back. Let your right thumb be to the sky. There's a micro bend in your left leg, even though that's kind of a straight leg. And you can find that by pressing your left big toe mound into the ground. Now imagine that you're spinning your inner upper arms away from one another so that we're not scrunching shoulders into ears, and then breathe it here for a couple rounds. We'll sip the silence. Really great. Firm through your feet, lift and firm through your low belly, and then come all the way up. You might move your block out of the way, just so we know we're not going to trip on it. Turn all your toes to face the long edge of your mat, and then heel toe until we're back into our mountain pose stance. Another change of props. So I will change my mat a little bit so that I hope you can better see me. We're going to place our blocks, if you have them, on either side of your mat. And you can also instead choose to use the base of your chair. So if you like using your chair, great, me too. Then make your way to the front edge of your mat, feet hip distance, stand in your mountain. Inhale, arms out to the side, a V shape overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips and bring your hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward, and here, step your left foot back, either bringing your hands to your tall blocks or to the base of your chair. First, we're in a lunge here. Really find some length to your spine. Remember, we're not letting anything collapse lower than hips. Now, very mindfully, so that just means paying attention, start to straighten your front leg a bit. Doesn't have to straighten all the way. And as you straighten it, press into your right big toe mound. Really feel that, the place of focus. So we're using muscles that are stretching our hamstrings, but we're using muscles that start in our feet and move all the way up the entirety of our legs. Our trunk is stable, low belly is lifting, right hip back and left hip forward. And then just make it beautiful from the inside out. Excellent. Then rebend your right knee and then step your left foot hip distance. Take your hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward. Exhale, fold. Keep your knees bending and come into a chair. So now we've gone from stretching our hamstring to now contracting it, and both are really great. Both are functions of our hamstrings. And then stand into your mountain. Pause for a moment. We'll do that chair again on the way to side two. Bend your knees, inhale, chair pose. Hands to your thighs, inhale, heart reaches forward. Either hands to the base of your chair, or you bring your hands to those blocks that are tall. Step your right foot back this time. First, we start in a lunge. Take a few moments to find the elegance of length through your spine, dancing with your breath. Make sure you feel solid enough to begin to straighten your left leg. And it doesn't need to straighten all the way. We're careful not to drop our head below our hips. You're pressing into your left big toe mound, and that turns on all those muscles starting at your feet. You can think building from the ground up. 2 more moments here. Now rebend your left knee, step your right foot hip distance from that left knee, hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward and exhale, hinge a little bit more at your hips. Inhale, chair pose, stay if you don't mind. 2 breaths. Bring your hands back to your thighs. I know it's a pretty long time in our chair, that's on purpose, sorry. Extend your heart forward here. Hands come to the base of your chair or hands come to your blocks. Step your left foot back again. We're in a lunge. And then slowly begin to straighten your left leg. Option to stay here. Option to turn your left foot on its side. So your left foot is flat back behind you. One more option, if you're game, is to turn your chest to the right, thumb to the sky with your right arm, and turn at your waist. What I don't want is for this to crumble into your shoulders. So maybe it's handy to take the back of your hand onto the small of your back. We're just trying to straighten the front leg a bit. We're just trying to find a little bit of rotation through our waist, and all of it is beautiful from the inside out. 2 more moments here. And then unwind and take your hand to your block or base of chair, spin onto your left toes, and then step your left foot hip distance from your right, hands to your thighs. Inhale some length into your spine. Exhale, keep the knees bent. We're going to head into that chair pose again. Intentional again. We're hamstringing it up. Now bring your hands back to your thighs so that we can find some length as you inhale. Terrific. Hands to the base of your chair or hands to your blocks, tall. Step your right foot back this time. We begin in a lunge. Length through your spine, breathing through your nose. Maybe you straighten that front leg a little bit or quite a bit. Option to stay here, or turn your back foot on its side, so turn your right foot on its side. Maybe this is enough. Possibly, right hand stays on your block, turn towards your left, thumb to the sky. We're not scrunching our shoulders into our ears, and it might feel better to you to place the back of your left hand onto the small of your back. And as we turn, how tempting it is to use your neck. Try not to. Let it be that there is a heart in your chest. Oh, there is. And that you want to blast it over to the left. 2 more moments. Now unwind, bring your left hand onto your block. Step right foot hip distance, hands to thighs, inhale. Now this time exhale, hands to blocks or base of your chair. Step your left foot back and lower your back knee. Now you may want padding, so if you've got your folded blanket, feel free to shift that underneath your knee. Also, curling your left toes under, your back toes under can be helpful. I like to use my blocks. It's great if you bring your chair closer to you to use your chair. Straighten, gently, slowly, carefully, your right leg out in front of you and find the elegance of the length of your spine as you do. Bit of a hamstring stretch, sort of a half split. What we don't want is rounding. What we do want is a hip hinge. An inhale that gives you length, and an exhale that feels like it's untangling the sticky bits in the back of your right leg. Stay for a few moments here. Let the sensations and your breath Be a bit of a meditation. And it's a stretch of our attention, isn't it? It's a stretch to not get distracted. And it's a physical stretch, certainly in the back of our right leg. But there's a stretch and length through our spine. Even stretching our breath a little bit longer and deeper and richer. 2 more. Now, while we're down here, we're just going to stay low to the ground. So this transition will be a little different on this side. Swoop your right knee next to your left knee, and then simply step your left foot forward. And now we're on the second side. If you feel like, gosh, I wish I had put my blanket underneath my back knee, this is a good time to do it. Begin to straighten your left leg, and then just curl those toes back. And remember, when we've talked about straightening the leg, if you feel like it's locked out, that's not really what we want. That's also the locking of your leg is gonna make you feel like you want to round your spine. So let it be more fluid. Hinge at the hip, length through your spine. No shoulders in ears, and nobody's head lower than their hips. And then we'll sip the stillness and the silence together in a meditation for a moment, if you don't mind. I know, it's all a stretch. For me too. Let's go for 1 full minute of me being silent. That'll be a challenge, won't it? And we'll be still together, starting now. That was a full minute. You did it. The perfect stretch. Now bend your left knee so our knees come together. Move your props out of your way. This is the part where I move my mat, but you don't need to move yours. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. You might want to do the same because we're going to lie down. So you'll lie down on your mat. And once you're lying down on your mat, hug your right knee into your chest and let your left leg feel like it's standing on the ground. So for a moment, we have that contraction in our hamstring that's a little bit like the chair pose, but we're not weight bearing anymore. Your head's relaxed on your mat. Your breath is steady through your nose. Things are getting a little more mellow, which is nice. Now take your hands behind your right hamstring and then just move in the direction of letting that leg straighten like we've done in so many poses today. And if it doesn't get all the way straight, that's fine. All of us are just a work in progress. So you're moving in the direction of that leg being straight. We don't want to forget the left leg. So really, perhaps take your left hand on that left thigh and feel like you're standing in your mountain in that left leg. We'll sip some stillness here. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get that little like shake and quake as I try to straighten my leg. That's just muscles learning some new stuff. It's all good. You think we can take that full minute of silence here? I think we can. You did it again. Well done. Just bend that right knee. Give yourself a little squeeze, chest, knee towards the chest a little bit. And then straighten your right leg out and hug your left knee into your chest. If it's tricky to interlace around the shin, and for some of us it is, you could start holding onto the hamstring here too, no problem. Now remember, the right leg feels like it's standing in its mountain, so maybe right hand on the top of your right thigh is helpful with that. Stay for just a couple moments in our counter pose. That just means a pose that's different from a lot of hamstring stretches that we did and are about to do. And then just think of it as an experiment as you hold the back of your hamstring and you start to move that leg towards straight. And you can totally nerd out on feeling the hamstring muscles underneath your hands, right? They might be doing that shaking of like, what are you doing? What do you want us to do? And then just find a place where you can breathe and feel a little bit of sensation, but not too much. And then we use that sensation and breath for our full minute of meditation, stretching into the hamstring here on the left side. You did it again. You had that full minute of silence. Bend your knee. Give it a little squeeze, whether that's around the shin or the hamstring. And then extend your left leg. Give both legs a little bit of a waggle. Step your feet as wide as your mat. Cactus your arms. Let both of your knees just drop gently over to your right. Easy twist. And then come back through center and let the same thing happen. Just both knees spill to the left. Our feet are wide apart, nothing feels sharp. Just a delicious twist to end our practice. And then come down the middle. It can be constructive rest. That just means feet as wide as your mat and knees knock knee in on each other. And then just bring your arms alongside you, palms face the sky, and snuggle your shoulders underneath you. If straightening your legs feels good, you can do that for Shavasana. Close, maybe cover your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And then one last full minute of silence together. Shavasana, final meditation. So good. Feel free to stay here in your final Shavasana meditation as long as you'd like. If you're ready to find your way back, do it gently. Move your fingers and toes. You could stretch if you want to. Bend your knees and place your feet on your mat again. Roll to either side. Use the strength of your hands so that your head can be the last thing to come up. We were lying down for a while. We don't want to feel dizzy coming back up. Any comfortable seat, and then you can make a prayer in front of your heart or just rest your hands up or down on your lap. And feel the freedom. promise yourself that you'll wear this freedom out into the world even after you roll up your mat. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Let's do it again together soon.